Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about phonological and phonemic awareness, because a lot of times it's what we really get confused, a lot of people do. They are different, and that's what we're going to be learning about today, and how we can help the kids in the classroom learn how to differentiate them. So today we will identify components of phonological and phonemic awareness. We're going to discuss why they're both important, and we're going to determine methods to assess, decide, and guide the students to success using phonological and phonemic awareness. And I'm going to kind of show you too what I was doing with some of the kids that I was pulling out and doing those tests on them, because what I was doing was all phonological and phonemic awareness too. So, what are your present understandings of phonological awareness? We can write it down, you can talk about it, it's up to you what you want to do. But with your groups, I'm just going to give you about 3 to 5 minutes to discuss what is phonological awareness and what is phonemic awareness. What your understandings are, then what you remember of it. And it's totally okay if you're like, I don't even remember, or if you get confused, but just kind of talk with your groups about what you think about it. And then we'll share with each other and share out. Okay?
Oh,
You can share with each
paper,
other.
or are we talking?
You can talk about it, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
phonemic
Letters and one is
sounds.
right?
Phonemic is sounds.
Understanding the
And then
sounds.
phonological.
And then putting it
is
together.
letters. Yeah.
Okay.
I concur.
That's about all
Phonemic.
That's about all I call.
Rhyming,
It's okay,
alliteration,
I don't want to
rhyming, and
Oh.
alliteration.
I hear a lot of really good things. Alliterations, rhyming,
Blending.
sounds, letters. And that's pretty much what it is. So when we talk about phonological awareness, I really liked this picture because it kind of shows you phonological awareness is the whole big category, right? So it's words and sentences, syllables, onset rhymes. It's the alliteration and rhyming. It's all about sounds. We're not talking about letters, we're only talking about sounds. And phonemic awareness is just its own little raindrop under phonological awareness. So when we're talking about phonemic awareness, we're still talking about sounds. We're talking about putting words in isolation, isolating them, segmenting words, blending it and putting it together, and most importantly, adding, deleting, and substituting words, and all of this without the actual words in front of them, but vocalizing it and saying it, having them hear it. So why do you think it would be so important for kids to know this?
It's,
What do you think? Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
like the basis.
The basis
of
of reading? What do you guys think? Why do you think it would be important to teach this? I mean, kindergarten
Break words
gets the
apart.
basics,
So like when they're
right?
reading, they could become more like fluent.
I mean, you
readers.
can't put a word together unless you know the sounds of the letters.
So we need to know the sounds to put them together, to make the words. I like what you said. What did you say?
Be more fluent when they're reading, because then they can catch, they have the habit of like log and
Yes.
hog, and they won't have to sound out all the time, sound it out all the
They
time.
already know the
They
og.
They know the og, and they won't have to say hog, hog.
Exactly. And so some of the things that we said was, and a lot of the stuff that I got was actually from our Fontes and Pinnell books. They said that students may be able to speak and understand the language, but that doesn't mean that they can automatically identify the sound. So just because they can speak it and talk to you, and you guys know this, that doesn't mean that they can segment it, tell you letter sounds, or any of that. One of the really confusing things is that there's 26 letters in the alphabet, but they make 44 phonemes, 44 different sounds. And then on top of that, they don't always sound the same. So like CH, we're always like ch, ch, but it can make the sound ch in chair, it can make the k in Christmas, and it can even make the sh in machine. So it gets really confusing for kids. So it's really important that we are aware of that when we're teaching. Phonological awareness improves reading and spelling when they're able to sound out those words. And as students learn the relationships between speech sounds and the letters in written words, then, like we said, it's the whole basis to reading and writing. And I liked this quote. So the most common source of reading difficulties is poor phonemic awareness. So that's one of the things we want to do is, if your reader's really struggling, they're really low readers, could be that they just don't have the skills in phonemic and phonological awareness. You know, so we wanna make sure that, we can make the right decisions when it comes to them. So where to start? So we can assess them. So I put down a bunch of different assessments here. So the optional assessments from Fontes and Pinnell was the first one I picked out because we already use Fontes and Pinnell. So inside your kits, you have the assessment forms, and I marked off, there's an initial sounds, right, an initial sounds test. So you've got it right there. They even have it online if you need to make copies, right? So this goes with our Fontes and Pinnell, what we do already. I marked off syllables. Can the child tell you syllables, right? And you'll notice, they're not words, they're pictures, right? So we're still, again, phonological awareness, we're not talking about the letters and making the words, we're talking about the sounds. And so these are a really good resource to use. Let me see. I don't know, I can't still get into my reading A to Z, but you guys can. And they have these phonological awareness assessments. There's a whole bunch of really good ones on here too, that you can just go in and print. You've got your rhyme, your onset rhyme, your syllable awareness. We have our initial sounds, and they have 3 of them, so you can do like beginning, middle, end, if you'd like to. We have the final sounds, and we have medial sounds. And then we have just plain old phonemes, blending, segmenting, manipulating. And I will say, most of the kids that I've tested, the medial sounds is where they're struggling. You know, they're like, they've got the beginning, they've got the end, they're struggling with that medial sound. So if you think, oh, my kid's struggling, they're really low readers, this is something you can assess them on, and it's a quick fix. You know, just gotta teach them explicitly. Let me go back, sorry. Assessments from Flint Cooter. So this is a book that I have and one that I used a lot. And so this one, same thing. You've got your alphabetic assessments. And so this is all, it's a lot of words, but it's you saying the words. It has nothing to do with the kids reading them.
Emily Lopez to the front office. Emily to the front office. Uriah Garcia to the front office. Uriah Garcia to the front office.
So like this one, all I tested for was beginning, middle, end sounds. There are 5 words. I said the word, and whatever they recall, I write down. And then you record how many of each one that they got. And with this too, there's like beginning, middle, ends. And I have those resources, but if you want to borrow it at any time, I can lend it out. Another thing I put on here was, map testing. I put it on there because it does give you some good data, some good feedback that you can look through, and that's something that we already do. Hegarty Phonological Awareness Assessments. So Hegarty is a program, a phonics program, a phonological awareness program, like all in one. It's a really cool program, and I found this resource, and I found it late, but I was like, this is cool. I know they're maybe thinking about adding it into our curriculum next year. And so they have just all of the assessments.
Hylas right to the front office. Hylas right to the front
So
office.
you have your beginning, middle, and end of the year. And you have your little assessment, just like that. And I was like, oh, I tried this with 2 kids, because I was like, this is nice. And it's all in one. Like, no, this is not in our curriculum, but it's something that you could use, because it's really just getting data for yourself. Is really all it is. And then of course, classroom observations, right? When you're working in small group, which kid is raising their hand every time and giving you wrong answers, right? Or which kid is not answering, or just looking at others and answering because that's what they're saying, right? So your classroom observations also are a way to easily assess. So then what then? So we look at our data. And all of these tests, all of these assessments, they tell you how many the student has to get to be able to be emergent, proficient, or what was the other one? Emergent, proficient. Yeah, something like that. And so, you know, it gives you the baseline depending on which one you're using. And so what you do then is you look at that data, right? You look at it, you see where are they struggling the most, where are they struggling in emergent. So you think, where are the gaps? Where do they score low or emergent? I liked this quote. It said, phonological awareness instruction is an important component, but only a component for teaching beginning readers. So we recommend that it be included in early intervention instruction for children who show signs of confusion. So it's really important, if you've got your struggling reader, see where that struggle first is. And so what you can look at next is there's like a continuum of where, like, the way that you teach, okay? Because you want to make sure you're teaching systematically and explicitly, okay? So we're not going to go over everything here, but word awareness, okay? That's the number one. Can they track the words as they're reading? Words in a sentence. Some kids are still confusing. I'm with first graders, working with first graders. Some of them are still confusing a letter from a sound or a letter from a word. So we need to make sure, do they even have the word awareness skill? Once they do, then you get to rhyme and alliteration. So a lot of times that's why you're using poetry, because poetry has a lot of rhyming in it, and they become familiar with rhymes. Syllables, counting, tapping, blending, segmenting them. Onset rhyme, the first letter, like tan, is your onset, and is your rhyme, right? Then we go into phoneme awareness, where we're going to start blending, segmenting, and manipulating, especially those words. And a lot of the second graders that I'm working with, they're really good at that manipulation, so you all have done a good job of that. But the most important thing is that you're teaching it in a logical way, and you're teaching it direct and focused. And we're going to go over some examples really quick of how you can apply this into your classrooms, because it's in your curriculum, right? Phonological awareness is in your curriculum, so it's already embedded, right? But when we do it direct and focused, we want it quick, right? And we want it to be explicit, where they are just, they're being taught in a short way and in an instructional way, that they are getting it immediately. We're not stopping and talking about other things. So we're gonna quickly take a look at our teaks. I printed them out, just one for each group. You can try that if you want.
No. I'm like, I'm saving this.
So what I want you to really notice about these teaks,
Sickness. Yeah, I'm not giving one.
so the way I printed this out, I got it from Teaks Resource, and they're vertically aligned. So you have your kindergarten, first grade, and your second grade. And I also have it printed with the specificities, so that you can see, and it starts, we're gonna start right down here. Okay, we're gonna skip this top part. So that we can see exactly what they should have learned and what they will learn. So if you turn it to the back, we already see it says, demonstrate phonological awareness, right? And just looking at this first page, just take a look at it, talk with your group, what do you notice?
All the same.
It is all the same, right?
It's all the same.
It's talking about what it is.
Everything.
It gives you the vocabulary. Now turn the page. Okay, so now we see a little bit of a change. It's still phonological awareness, and we're talking about rhyming words. The thing to note about rhyming words is it's, yes, and it's so easy to hear rhyme, or not so easy, but it's easier for children to identify a rhyming word when you say them, but can you produce it back? That's a harder skill, right? And that's something that I noticed a lot of the kids are having trouble with too, is producing those rhyming words. So I'm glad you noticed that. So in kinder, they just identify. By first grade, we need to start producing. Go ahead and turn the page. What do you see on the next one? What do you notice? Is there anything different there?
Kinder has a lot.
Kinder does have a lot more. And if you'll notice on there, on kinder, it already says manipulating or changing the onset. So in kinder, they're already manipulating those words.
That.
Exactly, and using those rhymes and onsets. If you'll turn the page. And you know, I'll just give you guys like 3 minutes to kind of look over, find the similarities, find the differences. See what they should have already known. Also,
But it like saw every area.
I'll give you guys like 3 minutes.
So I have a question.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking like
Hang on 1 second.
the teacher.
So when
Right now, we're doing a lot of beginning sounds. She's got beginning sounds. I would focus on the remedial ending sounds.
Yes, I do her sound. Like I'm gonna do a mountain.
Right now, we're doing a lot of beginning sounds. She's got beginning sounds. I would focus on the remedial ending sounds.
Yes, I do her sound. Like I'm gonna do a mountain. Like so every word that she understands.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
but I'm not with their name or anything like that because
Yeah.
but like cause like she said today I'm in this one. She really works in She really does. Like, and I just feel like so like
Well, and then I hate
you've read to me.
I think with her,
Like, I don't know,
Cardigan's pictures.
Yeah, then I'm
They
like,
probably came, the pictures came in.
she hasn't put up this story.
I'm like,
Can I say, okay,
don't be scared me. You can be
Okay,
doing
now
that.
replace
Oh my gosh. I should have been like, I don't remember.
really?
Yeah, the pictures came in. Did you want to hide?
But that's something that we could definitely look at with her things, you know? But yeah, replacing words
Yeah.
and rhyming.
You should
Because
have
once we get to those
or
like.
pedal to the
shorter
metal.
videos, I think that would help her be able to manipulate those words.
Because she does do the sounding out.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank God. Okay. Happy Monday.
And like,
Okay, have a good one.
she did like sound. And so she would, and I can't remember what word.
I don't even care that you got out of your seat to ask me to go.
But she just said it wrong.
Yeah,
Like she said that you have the correct sound, it's not in the word.
yeah,
The
yeah,
correct
yeah.
sound in the word. So, like,
Yeah, she's an interesting case too. I think she is. And it changes like totally in various, in what she struggles with, you know? But I think, yeah, for us going back to phonological awareness
Yeah.
and manipulating sounds will really help her.
okay.
So,
What do you guys call it?
Well, I was thinking the TPRI, remember when you did that in
Uh-huh,
front of me?
that
It had
was
it
a
all.
good one.
That was
Mhm.
good. I
I
like,
know.
that was.
It had it all for the beginning of the year, especially you were able to see where they were at.
Mhm.
And I know we're not using it, that's why I'm like, okay, well, Fontes and Pinnell has an assessment that you can give, you know, just to see what they know, where they're lacking.
I know when I taught pre-K
Mhm.
a while back, it was on a report card,
Yeah.
like how many they could rhyme, if they could do onset rhyme, alliteration, and all of that.
On ours, it used to be, but not anymore.
yeah, there's just, it's just identifying the rhyme is on the report card now.
Kind of like ever since they focused on literacy.
They're kind of skipping through it.
Yeah, they're skipping
through
that part
it.
because they want to focus more on like comprehension rather than just reading too.
And they're jumping ahead. And so that's why I'm gonna show you some different things that you can do in your classroom, and it's just like quick, easy things. I mean, imagine if you do some of this like every single day with the kids. What did you guys notice about your grade, or well, first grade? What did you notice that they should have already learned that now they're gonna be learning? Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, like in.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
that they should have already learned, and now they're gonna go a little further on
And
it.
from kinder or from where?
Yeah, from
What
kinder to
did they learn
first.
in kinder that now they're gonna be, well, some of the stuff just stops.
And so if it stops, and that's like a huge thing too, is a lot of times we think, oh, it's not a teak, I don't have to teach it, when you still
Like a
have
long
these
vowel.
low performing students, right? And if it's not a teak, like that's the perfect thing to do in a small group, right? When you're doing your guided reading and you have a little bit of word work right before you get to the reading or after the reading, it's really easy to just incorporate a really quick little mini lesson on phonological awareness for these kiddos.
The long and short vowel sounds.
Yeah, what about it?
Like CBD.
Yes, they're more, yeah.
And I got this straight from the TEACS resource system, right? And I like that it gives you examples of exactly how to do it, which words, what they mean. And that's why I printed this out, and you guys are welcome to keep this, and I can show you, since I don't have one for everybody, I can show you where to get it. But it's really good to see where, if you're in second grade, your kid's in second grade, and you're like, wait, they can't even tell me a rhyme. Wait, when were they supposed to learn that? Oh, okay, first, kindergarten, you know? It's a really good thing to just look at and know, so that you know where to direct your teaching. So some of these activities I really liked, and I wanted to share them with you guys. I hope they open up.
Blending is a basic phonemic awareness skill that is part of all 3 levels of the phonemic awareness curriculum. When we blend words with students, we provide them with the parts, and they blend it together to make a whole or complete word. We begin teaching blending at the beginning of the curriculum with compound words. You will see a hand motion indicated below the blending skill within your manual, and I will show you what that looks like today. The compound word hand motion shows one hand for each of your words. As the teacher, your right hand is the first word and your left hand is the second word, and we clap or blend the word together with both of our hands. For example, flash, light. The teacher would say those 2 words, the students would repeat them back and blend together, flash, light, flashlight. We move from working with compound words to syllables. When we're working with syllables, we ask our students to chop each syllable they hear and blend it together to make a complete word. For example, recess. The students would repeat back, recess, and blend it together to make the word recess. We then work with onset and rhyme for our blending activities. The onset is the first sound in a word, a rhyme are all of the letters after the first vowel. And it would look like this. We would say to our students, ak. They'd repeat back, ak, and blend it together to make the word lock. We use this chopping hand motion when we are blending at the phoneme level as well. We show one chop for each sound that we hear in a word. So for example, we'd say to students, g-o. They'd repeat back, g-o, and blend it together to make the word go. We can use this chopping hand motion for words with 2, 3, 4, or even 5 phonemes. For example, st, a, p. The students would blend those 5 sounds together to make the word stamp. The blending hand motion is meant to be a useful tool to help students blend sounds into words.
So what you noticed was she uses it for pretty much everything blending. I don't know if I'm right.
As you begin to implement the
So she used it for multiple things. She said first you start with compound words because that's the easiest. So if you wanted to do, like if you guys want to try real quick the word backpack, right? If you want to try it, backpack, right? Or if you wanted to split up the word cat into onset and rhyme, it would be at cat, right? And it's something really simple, really easy. If you look up videos online, this is another one that's from Heggerty. The teacher literally just sits at the front, the kids are on the carpet, and it's literally 5 to 7 minutes of just blending words, and then, okay, now let's move on. It can be done at the beginning of your shared reading lesson. If it's already in your curriculum, this is just another, well, it is in your curriculum. But if it's already in your plans, this is just a simple way to add it to your routine. I want to do all of them, but I know I don't have enough time, but punch it out is really cool too.
Identifying final sounds is an activity you will see in all 3 levels of the phonemic awareness curriculum.
Final sounds.
The purpose of this skill is to help students to emphasize and isolate the final sound at the end of a word. The hand motion that you will see indicated within your curriculum is called punch it out. When a student says the word, they will slide their arm across their body and punch straight up when they get to the final sound. If the word was 9, the 2 teacher and student together would say nine, and punch up when they get to that final n sound at the end of the word. Or if the word is cup, the students would say cup and punch up for that final sound. Punch it out is a useful tool. The punch it out hand motion is a useful tool that can be used to help students emphasize the final sound in a word.
So I thought that was just fun because I can just imagine kids just like loving that and like punching up the sound. I'm gonna send you guys this so you can have all of these activities. The deleting one is really cool because it's when we're manipulating the words. Using picture cards. I don't know if you guys have ever used the Florida Center for Reading Research. They have tons of stuff on here too. I can link you guys or send you the link. And then clapping out syllables. Some people like to use your chin. Just some little things that you can do. I know you guys already use, a lot of you already use Elconian boxes. If they're not ready for writing, they can just push in a little counter for every sound they hear. If they are ready for writing, you can get them to start actually writing the letters inside. But phonological awareness, no printed words, no letters, it's just focusing on sounds. So that's something that you could do. And then if they're ready for letters and they're ready for words and we're ready to move on, these are just some other really good exercises that you could do. The roller coaster is like, you would write K, like C-A-T, and then the kids would blend it with you and we'd say cat. Then you go down the roller coaster, right? So it's just something to do. You can do flip cards with them where only the first letter changes or the ending letter can change. You can do syllables. I know a lot of teachers have done like where you have the fly swatter and you swat out letters, words, those things. Tic-tac-toe, bingo, bingo beginning sounds. I have who has, those are fun. Just some little things that you could do. So basically what you want to do is you want to hit all multiple modalities. Your kinesthetic learners, a lot of you are really good with music. And like passed by kinder and you guys were doing the little letter factory. You still love that. Kids love that. And we just need to remember it doesn't end in kindergarten. Our struggling readers, I mean, these teaks go all the way to 5th grade, right? It doesn't end in kinder. So if you see your class is struggling in it and it's not part of your lesson, think about adding it to your lesson and just chopping up words every morning. 5-7 minutes, nothing, just something fast, but explicit and direct. Time spent is limited, okay? And the research shows too that you don't want to spend a lot of time on this. It's just something that you want to do quick and direct. And then always, you still need to incorporate reading and writing within it. All learning is interconnected. So I just want to know what is something new that you learned today that you can begin tomorrow. Does anybody want to share what's something new that you're like, I'm trying that tomorrow, we're going to try it out? The punch, I like the chopping. The chopping.
Or
Yeah.
even just taking the spelling words and doing something like that every morning, or just finding a group of words to show them how to, just to get them used to it, so then when they start on their own or writing or whatever, they can also do that.
Yeah, and there was this other one that I saw, and it's using your arm for the sounds, right?
Yeah,
Middle
that's what-
end. And it helps them, you know, it's a visual for them. They're like, oh yeah, this is the middle, so that's the middle sound, right? It's a visual for them. It's using their bodies. They can stand up and chop or punch. And yeah, and it's something that you can just start.
I know in kinder we have, during our shared reading, we have our word families.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right before.
And we have a poem that has the word family, so we just,
Perfect.
every day we're going over those.
That's perfect. And going over the rhymes and which words rhyme. And then eventually getting to where they're producing their own rhymes. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me?